This is Max Rothman with Brewbound.com. We're here at the NACS show in Atlanta at the Growler Station with John O'Connell, the company's co-founder. John, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thanks, Max.
So how's the show going for you so far?
It's going real well. You know, it's our first NACS show that we did. We decided as a company last March or so to get into it, test the waters with the convenience store market, and we found that it was a wise decision, and we've been pretty well received.
So what's telling you that it's been a wise decision? What's the feedback been like here?
The feedback is people are starting to look into getting into growlers, and the other thing is people that are in growlers, what they're experiencing is a significant waste with the growler systems that they're currently in. So ours provides a solution to that in that our waste factor is less than 2%, where they may be realizing off the traditional tap method, you know, a 25 to 35% waste factor. So we with that, we're able to eliminate their waste issues, and also there's a wow factor. It's something that's different. It's not out there. It's a one-of-a-kind system, in that you're not a Me Too operation. You can differentiate yourself from your competition in the local market that you may be in.
So you spoke about eliminating some of the waste. Could you elaborate a bit more on how this process works?
Yeah, our systems are counter pressure systems. So there's three things that really produce the waste, and that's when you expose the beer to oxygen, you're going to cause a lot of foaming, and when you're pouring the beer in the tap method, you'll see a lot of foaming coming out of the top of the growler. Ours, what we do is we create a seal. It's the same principles as a mass bottling line. We create a seal, we purge any oxygen that's in the bottle out of the bottle with our system, and we pressurize the bottle with the CO2 at the same pressure as the keg, and then we draw the beer in, and it's a foam-free fill. It's a bottom-up fill because what we do is when the beer comes in, it cascades on the side of the bottle, and it fills from the bottom up. And then once you're filled, and you cap that bottle, it's a 90-day shelf life for ours, where the other method, it's a 2 or 3 day shelf life. And you're not jeopardizing the integrity of the beer. You're getting the beer the way it's meant to be delivered to the consumer, straight from keg and into the glass without it exposing it to oxygen. So
what are some convenience stores where I can already find the Growler Station, and what are some that you plan on entering in the near future?
Well, right now we're in the specialty liquor arena, which is separate from the convenience store, but with Total Wine and More. We'll do about 15 of their stores this year. We have a store in Charlottesville, Virginia, with a company called VPS as a test store. They have approximately 300 stores that we're looking to grow the system with. We've had a serious interest from folks here. We're in negotiations right now with companies like Walgreens and Duane Reade to do some test locations, Circle K, and we're in grocery at Price Chopper up in New York. And like I said, we're in the process of going into some other C stores across the country that are multi-unit C stores. So right now, that's kind of where our exposure is in the market. And that's one of the reasons why we want to introduce and launch here at NACS, because it gives us the platform to show our equipment firsthand to the people that are the decision makers. Because as you can see, our equipment isn't something we could bring to a meeting at one of their corporate headquarters.
Right.
So we got to bring them. This is the environment that we needed to be at to really show them what it's all about. And like I said earlier, it's been well received from them because they can see firsthand. They can touch it, feel it, play with it, look at it, and understand firsthand, as opposed to seeing it in a digital PowerPoint or a video of it. So that's enabled us to really gain some traction in this C-store arena.
It's nice to have that tangible understanding rather than just talking about it over the phone.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really, like I said, is what's been able to, the big plus for us being here.
Why do you think the Growler Station has some viability in convenience stores? What about it makes it mesh with that kind of channel?
Well, because one of the main things is it gives the C stores an opportunity to bring in a consumer into their store that may not be a traditional shopper in their store. And it gets the people maybe off the gas pumps, because right now you go to a gas pump, you fill up, you swipe your card, and you don't even go into the store. Where if you're doing growlers and you're doing craft beer growlers, it gets that consumer to say, wow, you know what, I'm going to go in and try and see what they have for growlers. And it gets that non-traditional consumer into their store. And that's one of the reasons why they're getting into it. And plus, the bigger reason is the margins that the C-store environment can realize. Right now, they're selling bottles and cans. Maybe they're dabbling in the craft beer industry a little bit. They're selling bottles and cans. Their margins are between 12 and 15 points on that. The margins on this are between 50 and 60 points per sell. So you can realize a nicer margin, and you can be flexible with your specials that you may want to offer because you have so much margin in there. So that's one of the things that they're seeing as a real positive, that they can now realize bigger margin through draft beer, get a consumer in that isn't traditionally or one of their consumers, get the people off the gas pumps into the store for another new reason because they have a wow factor in the store. So it's been that's really what some of the focus has been in terms of where they see the viability for a Growler Station.
I'm sure those heaps of brewers that don't have fully developed infrastructures really appreciate those margins also.
That's another thing. It's great for the C-store operators, especially the national, the bigger guys, to ingratiate themselves with those local breweries. Those local breweries right now, the only way they're getting their product out is maybe to a tavern or a local pub or whatever, because they don't have the financial wherewithal to build a canning line or a bottling line. Those can run up to $1 million. And those local breweries, they're kind of close to the vest. This gives them the ability to work with the local C-store, get their beer into the C-store and into a consumer's hands and at their home, which is a real big plus, because in this industry, they have a huge following, and they may say, Bronx Brewery may say, hey, you can get my beer down at the local Duane Reade, go check it out, as opposed to sitting at Bob's tavern, and then that's the only way they can get it. Now they can buy a bottle of it and bring it home. So that's another advantage that the C-stores and the local breweries are seeing for the growth of this growler industry. So.
And that's certainly on trend. Everyone's drinking local these days.
Yeah, and it's a good thing. It's like listen, it's big box, big business doing business with the local guys. That's a good thing. I mean, that's a driving. Like I said, a good way to ingratiate yourself with the local businesses. They appreciate that, and it's a good sell.
Growler fills, as you know, are legal in many states, illegal in many others, and others somewhere in between. Mm-hmm. How do you see this all turning out?
I see it eventually, other than the real hardcore states, all the states, because the tax revenue they're going to start to realize from it is huge, and you just can't turn a blind eye to it. We see states coming online almost every week. North Carolina went on last week. 3 weeks ago, Florida changed their laws to now do, we're doing ABC Fine Wine and Spirits in Florida. That's 150 locations, and they're doing 32 ounce and 128 ounce, which is, they don't do 64. We're not sure why, but so states are starting to be more open to legalizing growlers. And like I said, the states in the Pac Northwest, they love it. They're all open up there. But there are states where it probably will never happen. Those states, I think they're missing the boat from the tax standpoint. But it is what it is. But eventually, I think you'll see a large percentage of the states coming online with growlers.
Seems like only a matter of time until they realize what they've been missing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hey, listen, if they're good beer guys, then they're naturally going to let it go, right? I mean, get that beer out to the public. It's good for everybody.
Thanks, John. I really appreciate taking some time.
Yeah, thank you
today.
very much. Appreciate it, Max.